So here we are dealing with the 3 barrels with the fruit in it. This one's the rhubarb, and then that one has a little bit of a raspberry left, and then we have this one, the big raspberry. So we, over here where the perennial bed is, I dug a hole. Now, I don't know if it's a big enough hole, but I'm going to have to make it work. I'm just not able to do more than that. And I have to do that hole all along here to that fence post to put the 2 raspberries and the rhubarb in ground so we can get rid of these half barrels. Because as you know, we rent and we don't want to get charged for it, for the disposal. So we're doing it. And so we just took this big one, which I knew would be the hardest out of the half barrel. And if you look around the side, there's moss on it. There's moss there. Some fell on the ground. There's moss there. And that's because it was in a white barrel. When you do plantings in containers, never ever go with white. And you can see we were able to take a shovel, go down the side, and it cracked. So white is not good. These blue ones in the garbage pile, none of them cracked. The white one, we were able to crack it. So just as a FYI, if you're going to do container gardening, I usually try for blue. And then like even the yellow one cracked after 2 years of being in the garden, the top lip of it. So try and do darker colors. Black, I don't like. I know that when you buy plants, excuse me, from the greenhouse, they do put it in these black pots. But for year after year in the garden, I don't like the black pots because if you have a heat wave, I feel like those roots are going to get cooked. So yes, I go for darker colors like this blue, or there's the red in there, or copper. The pink even was fine. The Rubbermaid over there is all blue. And then these were not all blue. The yellow one was cracking. The green one, I think it was just because it was old, but green would have been fine. It was upcycled from someone else. So yeah, just don't go for white, yellow, or black. That's just my opinion. And that's my recommendation. So now we have this out of the half barrel. That is all root. That whole ball is root. So by transplanting it now into this garden bed, I am going to have to probably cut it through the middle right there to break it in half. And I will be destroying some roots. There is no way around it. Unless I can get somebody strong over here to dig the hole bigger and just drop the whole thing in. But because I don't have such a person to do that for me, I'm going to just cut it in half. And there's a lot of growth from previous years. Those should be rotted enough I can pull it out. And yeah, you just do your best. Transplant as much of it as you can. And if there's not enough room to do the whole thing, then some of it I'll throw away. But as long as you have, you know, like a good clump with roots and all, raspberry spreads. Like, look at this. I have a raspberry plant here that I did not plant. It was from the birds. Like, this is definitely a raspberry. Like, you can see the thorns on it. There's like tiny little thorns. That is 100% absolutely a raspberry that I never planted here. So the birds must have dropped a raspberry here, or like I've said on a previous video. They pooped out the seed. So I'm not too worried. And they are survivors. They won't like die because of it. They may be set back one season, 1 year, but I'm not worried about it. So I just wanted to show you the big task we have of putting these 3 white barrel fruits into that planting bed. And when we pulled it out, believe me, Scott and I were tugging at it and pulling at it. And yeah, he had the great idea of using the shovel, and the shovel definitely helped going down the sides. But then when we did that, the plastic broke. It's all cracked. This was the side on top because we had it lying down. Anyways, just wanted to give you an update on that as we're doing it. See you on the next clip. So this clip will be my seedlings. And I just wanted to show you how far along they are. So here we got some herbs, some flowers. Here's the tomato, which I need to repot because I've got so many in one pot. The peppers, the tiny Tim, like look how many in the tiny Tim. And then down here, and then over here. A lot of these I will find room for. And some of them go to, well, a couple of them go to my daughter. And then these guys aren't, excuse me, aren't doing so well. There's not so much sprouting, except the hibiscus. You know, these 2 sprouts here, those are hibiscus. I got 4 more hibiscus plants. Oh, there's another one in there too. 5 more hibiscus plants. So people, I probably won't be until the fall, but depending how fast they grow, I may have some to give away if you live near me. And then over here, there's like little sprouts everywhere. But nothing like major. These are still struggling, and that's fine. Like my ground cherry, I don't think I'm going to have any ground cherry this year. And that is not one of the ones you can buy in the stores. I've looked for ground cherry starts, like the little starts. Nobody has them. There's geranium, another geranium. This is my cornflower, my chamomile, my parsley. They're doing good. I'm just waiting for the temperature to go up a bit more before I put them outside. So there you go, my plant update. Hello everybody, and welcome to another episode of Angelika's Journal. I hope everybody's doing well. Today is Saturday, May 18th, I believe. It's just before noon, probably like 11:30. I just wanted to give you another update. We had rain all day yesterday, and so yesterday I rested. I didn't even do anything in the house. I just, took a day to rest. But I did want to show you an update of where we're at in the backyard. So I'm gonna start on this side. Those rain barrels are still there. We don't know what we're gonna do with them yet. The tires are still there. That goes to my daughter, one of my daughters. And then the grass, I've done patchwork wherever there's a divot, but I was not able to finish the process. It's a little high in the middle, which that's supposed to go closer to the fence. But I am trying to level out the lawn with the extra soil from all the containers. So that is a work in progress. Over there under the tree, That's where I've been dumping the last bit of soil, the containers. I need to put my boots on and then stomp down those clumps of soil, and then I'm going to try to spread it out. But I do need to put it also in that area where that black and blue bins are, because there is a divot in that area also. But as you can see, there's quite a bit of garbage piled up. So all the garbage in that area is metal, a bed frame, foam, pressed wood, all those things that you, like the pressed wood is the wood you cannot burn. Right? City bylaw says not, it's toxic to burn the glue that's in that pressed wood. So all that stuff is there, ready to go. Yes, some of it is from inside the house. Oh, there's Scott's son's parrot cage there too. Just, like stuff that we can't burn. Oh yeah, the big PAX cabinet for my craft room. There's a lot in that pile, and that all has to be taken to the dump. And then if we move to the other side of the pathway, right there, that's mostly the plastic containers. There's some chicken wire, and then there is some pressed wood there. Those two long boards are structural boards that we got for free. I was using them as a platform, but I noticed as moisture got in the wood, we would get more bugs on them, like mealy bugs and ants and those centipedes. And yeah, they seem to like that wood when it gets wet. But you can't burn it because it has glue. It's a structural board. I guess they put many layers of wood with glue to make it like super strong for structure. I don't know, that's what the guy said. It was a structural board. But so what we're going to do is cut them in half so they're easier to lift, because one board is like really heavy. Plus, don't forget there's still moisture in it. And then there's some more boards next to the 3 white half barrels. There's some boards leaning up against it. So those can't be burnt either. So that whole pile needs to go also to the dump. I do have a pot of garlic chives, which I'm leaving it there in the sun right now. I do have to divide it, and I'm going to keep half, and one of my daughters wants half. So I still need to do that. And then over here, I did fill in some holes that were here, but again, on this side here, there's a bump, so that needs to be moved more over. I also have my tool hanging up because over the winter it was in a bucket that didn't have any holes, and so they were pretty wet. They probably got frozen. So I'm just hanging them to kind of air out and dry. Mind you, with all the rain yesterday, it probably got a little bit of a wash. But I'm going to fold them up and put them away, because I do use that to cover plant pots so that when you start seeds, the birds won't eat the seeds, because they'll eat the seeds of all vegetables. So if they see it, they'll eat it, and then you have nothing. So I like to put the tool over it because the sun still gets through it. You can still water it through the tool, and it's a great protector for the seeds. All right, and then moving on. Oh yeah, I do still have this bucket. Hold on. Right there. That's my last half barrel to empty. I was hoping that the grapes would show signs of surviving the winter, because we did have a pretty mild winter, but there is no signs whatsoever. So I decided that I'm going to just cut it back, and I'm going to use the soil in that barrel to mix with the sheep manure and the peat moss and all that kind of mix that I do, perlite. And because I need some soil for a few of my containers that I had emptied earlier in the spring, which is fine, but I do need to fill it up with soil. So I'm going to use that soil, and yeah, then I'm going to have soil for those containers that I did empty that I'm ending up keeping. And then if we go over on this side, again, I did put some soil on the ground, but here it wasn't necessary because this is pretty much straight. It's just that was my working area, and then that's what was left on the tarp. But I did plant right there all the raspberry and the rhubarb, and so far it looks like it's doing good. Yes, there is a little clump of rhubarb, the small one in the front. That was actually a crown that broke off. And I figure, you know what? It doesn't hurt. I'm going to try and see if I can root it. And if not, that's fine. But I thought I'd just give it a try. See what happens. And the rhubarb separates the two different types of raspberries. So you got the one you trim in the fall or in the late summer is on the left, and then the one that's struggling is the one that you cut back in the spring. So we'll see how it goes. And of course I still have the wild one growing there, and I do have, I think that's delphinium that's growing to the right of the raspberry. But then the rest of the bed all has to be weeded and the grass removed and a layer of sheep manure put down. But because of this garbage pile, I don't have the space to get there. I can get there, but I'd be doing it sideways. So I don't know. It's not my priority right now. And then my organic dump pile, I called it my natural compost heap. You can see how high the soil level is at the front of it, like in this area here. The soil, that soil was not soil. It was from, I don't know, maybe 2-3 years ago. I think I started this pile 3 years ago. And so I just keep putting more on top and more on top. And just naturally, the bottom layer decomposed. So that's all decomposed soil. So I might use that to mix in with the sheep manure when I top up that perennial bed right there. I might take some of that soil, mix it with sheep manure and perlite and a bit of peat moss, and I'll just cover that area once I weed it, because that is good healthy stuff. All right, and then I'll turn, where's the sun? Oh good, sun will be behind us now. So this is the view. Now the garlic chive is on a concrete block, which we're going to be putting on top of that, well, partially on top of that dirt I dropped to fill in the holes. Yes, Mr. Magpie. Mr. Magpies. Yeah, so I'm going to put the fire bowl there, which this is the fire bowl. I'm going to be putting it there. It's between the two trees and 10 feet off the deck. At least 10 feet off the deck. So it should be fine, because I believe that's city by law, 10 feet from any structure. So it should be fine there. And then, oh yeah, I still have all this area to clean up. Um, let's go. Yeah, so this area still needs to be done. And here is the wood pile. It's looking a lot better. I spent the whole day Wednesday just cleaning this up. There was a whole bunch of chicken wire along here. I took it off of its frame and stuck it on a pile. I went through all this looking for wood that contained glue. None of them do. So now this is the final view of the wood pile. There's still one more platform, or no, around here. There's actually a few. There's a couple small ones and the one big one. I still have to take that apart today. Now, all those 2x2s and the 2x4s, I am not going to do anything with them right now because depending on where we move, I may need to make a platform for the greenhouse, which I'll show you is on the deck, if we keep it. And if it has nowhere to tie on to for when it gets windy, then I'll have to make a platform for it to weigh it down. So I'm not doing anything with the wood right now. There is a lot of wood there, and I figure right before we move, or like within a month before we move, I would like to burn all this and have like a barbecue. And yeah, just have a fun Saturday, Sunday kind of thing. You know, make a little party, and it's plenty of wood to burn. But that won't happen until I know where we're moving. And until I know where we're moving, I don't know what I'm going to be taking with. So I don't know if I need to build anything. But what is there now is all solid wood. It's all burnable. So even if we end up not burning it, somebody else can, right? So that is done, and it's going to stay like that for the next little bit. I did pull down the table that Scott and I made as a working surface. So over there, I still have the sink area and some totes there, which those totes, I'm going to clean them, and we are going to use them for the move. One of these blue ones actually has a lid, so, and then the other two don't, but that's okay. It still can be used for moving. The stuff under this water table, it needs to be cut up, taken apart, along with the cabinet back there. The pieces that are solid wood, I'll keep. The ones that aren't, of course, goes in the garbage pile. And then, of course, the water table, we could leave it. I don't know that anybody in the family will want it. So that's a wait and see. If we do get rid of it, it's all painted, and I believe you can't burn anything painted either. So I don't know that we can take it apart and burn it. That may have to go to the dump also. But if you take it apart, it's small enough that we can just put it in the back of the car, right? So that's still a work in progress. And then here by the tree is more gardening stuff. The watering cans I'm keeping. The containers with the hooks on them, the curved back, that I'm going to keep. Of course, the white crates I'm going to keep. But the stuff that's in those white crates, I don't know if I'm going to keep all that stuff. A lot of it I probably am not going to need. So, I don't know. That's still a decision I have to make. And then over here, right there, is that you hang up on the wall, and that is a bucket with no holes, which I mixed fertilizer in. I don't know if I'm going to keep it or not. The black wrought iron I will be keeping. Even if I have to sit it on top of my patio table, I'm definitely keeping that. And I do want to put some flowers in the pot. And then of course there's some little details here, like in that strainer, there's a bunch of glass beads. I'll probably just dump those glass beads because if, like, it was supposed to be for the bird bath, but if we're getting an apartment with a balcony, I'm not going to have a bird bath. And if I do, I can always just buy new ones. They're from the dollar store. So I'm just going to get rid of them all. They all have calcium lime buildup on them. So you got to clean them with vinegar and then CLR and then soap to get the chemicals off. And it's just so much work. And CLR does not get it all off. It's been too many years. So right now, this is my work area. When I'm taking things apart or I'm building something, this is pretty much my work area right there. I have the sink where I put my tools. I have my work table, and there's a nice area there, nice space. And so anything I need to do, I still do have those 3 platforms to do today. And then I guess at that point I can go through those 2 milk crates or whatever, the plastic crates. I can go through that stuff and make decisions. All right, so now we'll go on the deck and I'll show you what I'm hoping to keep. Okay, so what I'm hoping to keep, that bench, even if I have to clean it and put it in the house, I will. Like, I love that bench. It's comfortable. Inside the bench, you can store things like fertilizer or plant pots or, you know, like all kinds of things. So that I do not want to part with, even if I have to put it in the house. And then next to it, I guess I should have you a little lower. There you go. So next to it, that's 2 plant pots for my daughter. Not the beige one, but the black one under it. There's 2 there. That's going to be 2 vegetables I'm going to be bringing to my daughter. She wants a pepper, a spicy pepper one. And she wants the other half of the chives. Plus there's a black container by the tree that I didn't talk about. That one is for a tomato for her. So she wants a tomato, a spicy pepper, and the garlic chive. So those 3 we're going to be bringing to her. So those 2 pots, along with the one by the plastic crates on the ground there, those are going to her. Then we got a barbecue and the Traeger, which most likely we will take neither one. A balcony, you're very limited with space. And since we do not barbecue that often, it's like maybe once a year. There's some years we didn't barbecue all summer long. So those 2 are really not needed. I was saying because of the smaller space, we could always get a camping propane barbecue, like a tabletop one, and you can find some really nice one that has a grill plate, and then you can take the grill plate off and then it's like a barbecue. There are some nice ones out there, so we really don't need to take such big clunky items, right? We can just buy a nice little tabletop one, and for 2 people, or even if you have, you know, a couple people over, that's more than big enough. So that's that. And then over here, you can't see it because I have the 2 furniture pieces out now. That white dresser, I need to sand and repaint it white because there is a lot of blotchiness on it. And if anybody wants it, you know, or I put it up for sale, well, it looks pretty bad, the paint. So I'm going to sand the whole thing down to the natural wood, which you can see the natural wood on inside there. So I'll take it all down to the natural wood, and then I'll just do nice, you know, a nice job of painting it. And then there's that, which was my old desk. It's actually a makeup table, and it has a drawer with a felt liner. It's really nice. It's also from IKEA. Both of these are from IKEA. But my one daughter, her and I keep giving it to each other, like, oh, I don't want this anymore. Do you want it? And then it's like, sure, I'll take it. And then when I don't want it anymore, it's like, hey, do you want it? And she's like, sure, I'll take it. And it keeps going back and forth between her house and my house. Well, it's going to have its final resting place now. She wants it back. So, but the only thing is she does not want it dark. She wants a white one because her decor is white. So what I'm going to do is plaster the screw holes that I made and sand it all down and paint it white, and then I'm going to be giving it to her. So that'll take, I don't know, maybe a week to do. Not even. Well, you got to make sure the layers are well dried, right? And you got to do a proper job. So I don't know, the drawers are separate. Yeah, maybe about 4 or 5 days I should have it done, and then I'll let it cure for a couple more days. So yeah, a week. And then we'll take it over to her. Now, under that blue tarp, you can't see, but that's my patio table. And the bench is sitting flipped upside down right over there behind it. So I'm hoping to take that with. And then there's some plant pots on the floor there. And then here's the greenhouse. Now, with the greenhouse, I do not like the plastic cover on it, and I'll explain why. That plastic cover is more for when you start seeds. I start my seeds indoors. Our temperatures and our weather is so sporadic. Like, one day it'll be nice, one day it'll be freezing cold. Like, it just fluctuates way too much. You cannot use this greenhouse to start seeds. It is more to wean your seedlings before you put it in the garden. Like, get them used to the sun and the breeze. So what I decided is, if we have the room, I would like to keep it. And then because it's a balcony, you're limited with space. That, because it goes, hold on, my little handle here got loose. Because of the shelves, and you can hang something on the top or whatever, you know, you can grow peas or a tall tomato in it, things like that. It is good for vertical growing, right? So that's why I would like to keep it. Then I can grow more things, more vertical. But we may not be able to. So that is something I'd like to keep. And I did put 2 white barrels there, that pot, and then there's a bunch of pots over there, and then I have over on this side some pots, and there's a couple of wood platforms right there. There's 2 small wood platforms, and then you've got that black table frame. And I was thinking if I can put some boards across the top of that table, then I'd have a 2-layer planting area. Plus I've got my elevated one in the corner there, which that red pot goes on top, because I figured I'd put some strawberries in the red pot that's sitting on top of it. And then I'll also have strawberries around here. So then it's like a cascade of strawberries. And then here's some wrought iron pieces that I'd like to keep. Some do need to be painted, and we'll be able to do that hopefully before we move. I'm just trying to get out of the sun. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, so there is, that one is a chair, a bicycle, and then there's just a plant elevation holder, a plant holder in the back there. And then there's the table and the elevated strawberry thing. So I think with just that corner, plus this greenhouse, if that's all the planting I have, oh yeah, and then of course hanging on the railing, I've got a couple of planters. I found brackets for them from Canadian Tire. They sell them. So I've been looking Home Depot. I've been looking at Walmart and the dollar store. Nobody has them, but Canadian Tire had them. So I got 2 of them. I just have to bend it a bit because the container is not very wide, and so it's leaning too much. And so the guy suggested maybe bending it just a little bit, just so that it's more propped up straight. So yeah, and that's it. That bench over there, that little green bench, was a gift from my boyfriend. I'll probably keep that because it does fold flat. You can stick it under a couch or something if you're not using it. The shelf that's over there is probably going to be out of here. The blue carpet on the railing there is out of here. So yeah, there's still some things to do, but I'm just happy that the majority of the garden is done. Like really, there's just a little bit like fine tuning to do, but overall, like all the containers that were over there, gone. My bird sanctuary, the fence I had there is gone. All the containers over here that I had are gone. Like that was a lot of soil that we had to find places around the house to dump. And my one daughter helped me with it, and she was very creative. She's like, oh, we can put another one here. Oh, we can put another one there. And she was right. And you know what? We got rid of so much of the soil from all those containers. And now it's just left a pile of plastic. And I know for those of you who worry about the earth and all the plastic that's going in the landfill, I'm sorry, but I did not create these plastic buckets. The rain barrels are actually for soap for a laundromat. They get the big barrels of soap. The storage containers, I guess that would be based on demand. And yeah, a lot of those containers were from my mom from 2015 when we moved her into senior housing or care center. That was in 2015, and we're 9 years later. And a lot of those containers are from her, and some of them are still going strong. But the plastic, the oils in the plastic disappear over time. I guess it evaporates, or I don't know how it works. And then the what's left is very brittle. So, yeah, I'm sorry guys, but it is what it is. We can only do as much as we can. And since they were, you know, I was upcycling used stuff. You know what I mean? Like, what can you do? Anyways, that's everything. I hope you enjoyed. And next week, let's see how much I get done next week. How much more of this I can... Well, there's not much left. I could probably finish it today, Saturday. And then next week I can start working on the inside maybe. There'll always be a little bit more. I need to go out of town to one of my daughters because there's a couple of things we have in the house that goes to her. So we need to do a road trip too, maybe Sunday or Monday. I want to take the girls to the garden center still too. There's a few things I still have on my to-do list. Anyways, take care everybody. Remember to do what makes you happy and everything else will fall into place. And on this video, I'd like to add on, and I probably will on the next few, peace and love. Remember the 60s? It was all about peace and love. Well, I think we need to bring that back. All right, everybody. Take care. Bye for now.